conscious that we're working with people's goodwill, and we take that very seriously. And we recognize that with the virtual world society as well, right? I mean, this technology is arguably one of the most powerful pieces of technology we've ever had access to. And it's quite it's a very dynamic, fast-moving industry. And there are big players and big industries. And, I appreciate Oculus and Facebook a lot for what they've done. But at the same time, it's too important a technology just to hand over and leave to big industries and big corporate.
Mhm.
We need guardians, we need communities, we need strong
Mhm.
communities to ensure that it stays open, it stays democratic, we have standards,
Yes.
that it's safe, that
Mhm.
this is something for everybody, and that when they come, there is content that speaks to the goodness
Mhm.
in us, reflects what's good about us. I mean, we have Donna here with Live Loved. She
Mhm.
runs however many 100 events every year,
Mhm.
and an amazing community of working there. The
Mhm.
Virtual World Society is now Fireside Chats. We need so much more content. Virtual reality has got a head start on gaming and on entertainment. That's good, as it should be. Next is enterprise, because they've got the money. That's fine. We need to be hot on their heels with just common sense, goodness, and kind of lead the charge. That's how I feel about it.
Mhm.
So for me to be able to support what the Virtual World Society is doing, and of course back for educators in VR to be associated with you and have access to um, your experience and your network, that's not something you pass up. It's we're hugely
Well,
honored to be your partners.
well, same here. And it really, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, isn't it? When we put these
Exactly.
pieces together, when we form these partnerships, these alliances for good, and it's not that
Right.
one organization will do it all. It's that we take the parts that we can put together, and it becomes something wonderful.
Exactly.
And this idea of being a bellwether, being the
Mhm.
sort of the spotlight, the lighthouse for the industry, because left to itself, no, the default, of course, is what does it take to make money? And the default from
Yeah.
that is to build games of violence. You make,
Right.
that supposedly entertain, but what really entertains is what you talked about, Ziggy. It's creation. That's what
Yes.
kids want to do. That's really ultimately
Absolutely.
what humans want to do. It's imagination. And how do we
Right.
spark imagination? And
Right.
all these years, during the early days of VR, we are always looking for this so-called killer application. Not killer in
Mm.
the term of violent games, but something that would be the pull. We were pushing technology,
Hmm.
sort of if you build it, they will come kind of thing. That we were
Yeah.
building this technology, we knew it had great power. I mean, even from the early days when I was working on fighter cockpits on this stuff, but we were looking for this huge pull, and it was there all the time.
Yes.
Had to do with education and with training, moving minds.
Yeah.
And so now we find ourselves in, as we are in educators in VR and the Virtual World Society and other organizations
Hmm.
that are want to work with us, the Make a Wish Foundation, the Technology Mentorship Program, Girls STEAM Institute, all of these different organizations. We're turning our attention now to learning, and especially learning that takes place in the home. So we've given
Yes.
this a lot of thought, haven't we, Daniel?
We have.
Uh,
Yeah.
and so, do you want to say something about your perspective on this?
I love that. I think I'll borrow something that you often say, and that is that the average living room is likely for a long time to have more equipment and tech than the average classroom. And
Mhm.
never more so, I think, than during a pandemic. That's highlighted
Mhm.
how
Mhm.
how resilient homes can be and how they've adapted to working from home, learning from home, self-isolating, and all of that. Along comes virtual reality that can be very creative. Research is abounds on the engagement levels and the
Mhm.
memory impact. But for me, you're talking about killer apps, and creativity certainly is one of them. For me, even more, it's collaboration. It's
Mm-hmm.
collaboration, right? VR, single user VR is incredibly powerful, impactful. But you make any app multi-user, and it's more
Mm-hmm.
than some of its
Mm-hmm.
parts. And there's no better example than Tiltbrush. Tiltbrush was recently made open source, and within less than a day, somebody had released a version that was multi-user. Tom and I had a great
Yeah.
experience in there
Oh
last week.
gosh. Wonderful.
Yeah, and a little story. My son, I told you how my son, I tried to not force VR on him. I tried to share it, and he was busy doing Minecraft and other things. But recently, I gave him for Christmas, I gave him my Quest 1, and he asked for me to bring it to France now. And suddenly he wants to do VR. And anybody played Gorilla Tag? It's a new game out. It's hilarious. My son and I were playing Gorilla Tag. And so I've been testing various collaborative platforms. When I go back to Wales and he stays in France, we will have 5 or 6 different things we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Multi-brush, Gorilla Tag, Rec Room, Altspace. So I'm not concerned about missing my son in the same way anymore, because he and I will be collaborating and creating
That's
in
great.
VR. So
Yeah.
that's one example of families using VR across time and space.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing I will say is in our research, there's a lot of funding out there, a lot of funding, especially for education. Education is one of those boxes that you can tick all over the place. But we found that families that are really carrying a lot of weight now in adapting to this pandemic, that there's surprisingly little structured support yet available. And that's
Mm-hmm.
tragic. We need to change that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's really what you're setting out to do, right? We have
Yeah.
the technology, we have a
Mm-hmm.
community of people, there's
Mm-hmm.
money. We're trying to put the dots together to
Right.
turn homes into really powerful, creative, exciting
Mm-hmm.
places. Yeah. Learning
Wow.
labs.
That I just get chills up and down my spine when you're talking about this. I'm so excited about this. And one of the
Yeah.
other things, by the way, and Mike, I've been working on this stuff for 54 years, this VR stuff.
Mm.
And every time I put on a headset, something happens to me. I mean,
Right.
even from the first day when we were doing
Right.
things for fighter cockpits, I was flying in the fighters, testing this stuff and seeing what you could do with it. I mean, it was transformative in terms of building a high bandwidth connection between a human and a very complex machine. But
Yeah.
I put on my Quest. I'm wearing a Quest right now, and so I put on this Quest, and I become a kid again. And I'm
Just like
77
that.
years old now, but I become a kid, just like that, and it's
Yeah.
fun. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Learning needs to be fun, and
Right.
that propels us more than anything else, And the collaboration
Mm.
part of it, where we're able to go play with others, go learn with others, go solve problems with others, do projects,
Right.
things like that.
Right.
One of the things that maybe this is a good time to invite Caitlin. Now,
Yes.
one of the things about the Virtual World Society has over 1,000 members. It's free. You can join for free to be a part of this movement. Also,
Mm.
educators in VR have over 1,000 members, and we're sort of joined at the hip with this. And but we are now beginning in the process of unfolding a new venture, a moonshot,
Mm.
so to speak, of the Virtual World Society that has to do with learning in the home. And
Mm.
we really are going want to draw upon the all of the wonderful people that are in our members in the society. And I know all of you aren't members yet, but please join as soon as you can. As soon as this is over, go to the Virtual World Society website and join. But
Indeed.
we have a number of core members. We have a number of activities unfolding right now. And Caitlin, would you sort of come up front here a little bit and tell us about what's going on? Where's Caitlin? Where'd she go?
She's behind
Sure.
there with the
Oh, there she's there.
red
There.
beret.
Okay. There
I'm
she
right
comes.
here. I
Yeah.
have to see. I think I put myself on speakerphone. I also put myself on air if necessary. Testing one,
Are you
two,
on
Lovely.
three.
there?
Can
Hi,
you hear
Caitlin.
me?
Yes. Yes.
Hi. Hi.
Caitlin
Yeah,
is
so we have
the staff of the
Mhm.
Virtual World Society, and you want to talk about that?
So we have so much going on. I guess I just wanted to start out by saying again, it's so great to see Ryan here. I had posted a quote for International Women's Day that was about how much I love libraries And I started out as a curator in a rare books room in a library. I've been in different library roles, and I just feel like this resonates that we're kind of creating a meta library as we go forward. So just so happy to be in this space sharing with so many people. And um, yeah, I will say that one of my first interactions with Virtual World Society was actually nominating Chris Long for one of the legacy prizes
Mm-hmm.
because,
Really?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so he had such a huge impact too
Yeah.
on my life and my journeys in VR that I just feel like bringing his presence into this room and just knowing that we stand on the shoulders of giants that have come before,
Mm.
kind of like this legacy of library. Um,
Mm.
yeah, our collaboration really is that killer app. And in Virtual World Society, we've gone through a whole process. Um, it's part of just my delight to really bring members' voices together and try to steward what the future looks like in terms of collaboration experiences, what we're building. 2020 was a theory of change process for the organization, and then now we're looking at some of the future steps and direction. So we thought in March, kind of shake it up a little bit, we would have a focus group, just a group that would be um, very proactive in terms of storytelling, getting together for an hour and sharing some of where the Virtual World Society is at in fundraising efforts and different objectives, and then just curating some of the members' experiences with VR itself, some of the experiences with the organization, and helping to shape some of the future projects that we're about to develop. So I think just so you know, here in AltSpace, if you're interested, the first way to take part in that March event is to join as a member and then reach out. Maybe reach out personally to me with an email saying you want to dig deeper in this focus group that really is going to be about human conversation. And then I can get back to
Mm-hmm.
you. And then later in April, we'll have a bigger community type meetup event. Somewhere where it's really, really open. This is going to be a smaller focus group just to really dig deep into ideas and do some sharing about where we're at in the process. Yeah, so that's what I'll share. And today is a huge day because the XR Global Collaboration Resource Guide just went public. So this is something that was just
Fantastic.
announced on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to have authored 2 chapters about storytelling and presence. So that's totally free to download. And again, it's a global resource guide to XR collaboration. It's been a work in progress for months.
Great.
So feel free to check that out also on LinkedIn if you want to follow my profile. It's posted there. Gosh, what
Thank you,
else? Am I
Caitlin.
missing anything? I think Ryan had his hand up, so he might have a
Yeah.
question about this.
Can we listen to
We
Ryan?
may need to get Ryan's
Yeah.
mic on any minute now. I see. I can probably try it.
Let me see if I can do that from my host tools.
So, Donna, can you?
Uh-oh.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Heard you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, sorry.
Great.
I had a bit of a glitch there and I thought I was going to crash out of the room.
It's
I
been
just
there for
wanted
all
to
of us.
say, for those of you that don't know, my name is Ryan Schultz, and I write for the last 3.5 years. I write a blog about social VR, virtual worlds, and the metaverse. It's at ryanschultz.com. And I wanted to say, Caitlin, the reason I raised my hand is that what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You know, magic question, right? Pretty much everywhere. On Twitter, I'm MindwiseCK.
Okay.
My handle is my name on LinkedIn, so that's really easy. You can look up
Okay, so
Caitlin
LinkedIn.
Krause.
Okay, that's good
Yeah,
to know.
LinkedIn
Thank
is
you.
probably fastest, and then you have all kinds of ways to hear about events, and then you'll see posts on the Virtual World Society webpage about our focus group coming up. But yeah,
Okay, that's
definitely.
good. Thank you. I before I go back into the audience and shut up, I just wanted to say I have more invitations than I know what to do with. And I have just been part over the last 2 weeks, I have been part of some amazing conversations related to VR, AR, XR in
Mhm.
the hot new drop-in audio chat app called Clubhouse. I've got more
Oh, yeah.
invitations that I know what to do with. So I invite you cordially to join me. It right now is only for iOS or Apple devices, not Android, not yet. But I tell you, it is blowing my mind the connections that I am making in Clubhouse. So if you
Wonderful.
haven't joined yet, and if you want to experience it, please contact me. You can contact me. I guess the best way is through my blog. I have a contact me page on ryanschultz.com. And I look forward to chatting with you. And I'm going to shut
Lovely.
up now and go back to the audience.
Awesome.
Thanks,
So I
Ryan.
think the
Okay.
interesting part here is here we are in a living room, and Virtual World Society is a community that has a spirit of collaboration and the idea of creating a home space. Where do you feel like home? And I find it personally interesting that all these new apps seem to add in an element of where we can come home to in this digital space of maybe feeling disconnected. So Clubhouse, we have Spark kind of coming out. So they're different. Just know that our coming events are going to